Hi everyone. I just want to make a quick video on homework 2 from Unit 1. All right, so this is section 2 in Unit 1. Just a little difference between a couple of the questions in terms of the graphing. So for number 6 and for number 7, you're just being asked to sketch the graph. So for instance, for number 6, it's y equals 2. This is a line. You're given multiple options down below, but you're only going to use the line tool. This is a horizontal line. All right, and as indicated in there, in a minute, some of you have already completed this, but if you haven't, you need to put 2 points down and it'll create the graph. So any 2 points at height y equals 2 and it'll draw the graph through. You do not need to use the point tool for number 6 and number 7. All right, you're just going to submit. Well, I was looking at the wrong problem, sorry. So that's all right. So we need to go down to -3. All right, I was looking at a different version, or maybe I was thinking about what was there for number 6. All right, so just put the 2 points down. All right, and then send the line through. There's not putting additional points down, just the graph. All right, so that's for 6 and 7. When you look past this, I'm going to come back to number 8 in a minute. As for instance, 9 through 14 in the homework, you're given a bunch of you're given an equation which you have to fill out the table, and then it says to plot the 5 solutions above and the graph of the equation. So you're not just doing the graph for these ones, you are doing the points also. So you're going to plug in the values. In this case, they're giving us the x values. We're going to plug into the equation, and I'll just fill the table out and do it quick. Absolute value, remember, measures the distance from 0. So when we put a negative number in the absolute value, it comes out positive. So we're going to really have 2 minus 3 there, which comes out to -1. All right, don't worry about that error message for the time being. That's up there. All right, so we're going to have 2 minus 3, which is -1. All right, when we submit it, it'll be fine. All right, it went away now. And the absolute value of -1 is 1, so it'll be 1 minus 3, which will be -2. Putting in 0, we're going to get 0 minus 3, which is -3. All right, then these values are going to repeat because the absolute value of +1 is going to be 1. 1 minus 2 is or 1 minus 3, excuse me, is -2. And then we're going to have 2 minus 3, which is -1. So we got to fill the table out. That's part of the problem. Now, when we go to do the plotting down below, we want to plot these ordered pairs. Each row of the table gives an ordered pair. So it's going to be -2, -1, -1, -2, 0, -3. We want to plot these solutions to the equations, and those solutions generate points on the graph and the graph itself. Now, when we're doing this on paper to kind of get the feel for what the graph looks like, these points will kind of help us develop the pattern. All right, but in this case, we have to do the 5 points we've got there and then the graph. All right, so let's use the point tool first. We're going to go -2, -1. That's our first point. And -1, -2. 0, -3, 1, -2, and then 2, -1. All right, now what we're seeing is 5 points on the graph of the absolute value. All right, and this is the graph is y equals the absolute value of x minus 3. The absolute value function or graph has this V shape. Okay, so now we want to select the absolute value tool, and notice it's saying we got to put the corner point to the absolute value. It's kind of the middle of the graph, and then some other point down. So you click one point at the corner first. You have to do that one first, and then any other one, as long as it's on this graph, will be fine. And notice the absolute value graph runs through there now. So we have the 5 points plotted, we have the graph running through them, and then the table filled out, and that's what we need to get full credit for questions 9 through 14. All right, the last thing I wanted to do in this short video was look at number 8. Okay, so 9 through 14, I think, are similar to those. Number 8 is a question you need to get off of this homework because it doesn't exactly fall. I mean, it's a graphing problem, so that part of it's fine, but we got to actually solve the equation, and we haven't talked about that as yet. That's going to be solving linear equations to be covered in the next section. All right, I have this over in my OneNote notebook, so I'm just going to show how to do this a little bit here, and then I'll go back and submit. All right, so the idea for this is the graph is coming out to a line. All right, we only have one option in the problem. This is to use the line tool. But how do we find some points that are on the graph? All right, and again, if you've already done this, just forget about it. Don't worry about watching. This video is not going to be that important, but for you. But if you haven't gotten it, hopefully this will help you out. What you want to do is pick points here. All right, so we're just going to pick values. In the problem we just did, number whatever it was, 10 or 11, we were given the x values and we found the y values. Let's pick. I'm going to start out by picking not x value for x, but I'm going to pick a value for y. Let's let x let's let y, in this case, equal 0, and then let's plug that into the equation. So the equation becomes 2x equals 4 times y minus 8, and we're going to substitute in 0 here. And now what we're going to do is determine what x is. 4 times 0 is 0, so we're going to have 2x is equal 0 minus 8, so 2x is equal to negative 8. All right, we're going to see in the next section, to solve this linear equation here, we're now going to break up this multiplication, because when we say 2x, it really means 2 times x. We can divide both sides of the equation by 2 without changing the solution set, because 2 divided by 2 cancels out to 1. So we get 1x is equal, in this case, negative 4, and 1 times anything is itself, so in particular times x is just giving us x. All right, now what does that give us? We let y equal 0, and the equation determined after we solved it, plugged it in, and now solved for x, that the corresponding x is negative 4. All right, now keep in mind when we graph this, our ordered pairs are always x, y, x first, y second, so we really have negative 4, comma 0 is one of the points we can use for this equation. All right, so negative 4, 0, that point's right here on the graph. All right, now we got to find another one to complete the problem. I'm going to simply pick x equals 0, and that works well for my example. If your numbers doesn't work out nicely, you might need to pick x equals 1 or negative 1 or y equals 1 or negative 1 or something like that. All right, so again, let's write the equation down. Whoops. Okay, didn't mean to do that. All right, back here. All right, so let me scroll up here. So I'm going to write the equation down again. So we got 2x is equal 4y minus 8. This time I want to let x equal 0. All right, and then we're going to plug in the equation. So 2 times x is going to equal, sorry, my wrist must be messing me up here. All right, we get 4y minus 8. Again, we're going to plug in 0 for x this time. Now 2 times 0 is going to give us 0 on the left-hand side is equal 4y minus 8. And now we have another linear equation which we now need to solve for y. All right, with linear equations, we're always trying to isolate the variable. So we're going to, for this one, I want to add 8 to both sides. All right, I like to keep the coefficient in front of the variable positive if we can. All right, so adding 8 to both sides, we'll let that happen. We'll get 0 plus 8, which is 8. On the other side, we're just left with 4y plus 0, which is just 4y. And then like the last problem we had, we're going to divide now by the coefficient to break up that multiplication. And we get that y is equal 8 over 4, which is 2. So for this one, we let x equal 0, then the equation determines that y has, the corresponding y value is 2. So the other ordered pair that I'm going to use to graph it is 0, comma 2. Okay, so that's the idea for this problem. Plug in some points, plug in values, to get at least 2 points on the graph, and then plot those to create the graph. All right, so the other point that I'm getting is 0, 2. All right, so there's our value there. So I'm going to put these, I'll go back into the homework system. We'll just put those 2 points down, and then we're going to let the line tool draw the corresponding graph through there. Okay, so going here, we're going to go negative 4, 0, and then 0, 2. All right, and that's all we have to do with this problem is sketch the graph. All right, and this one again, really I need to get this out of this homework. All right, it needs to be in the next homework, so that's why the main reason I wanted to make this video was to explain how to do that one. All right, there's no video attached in that problem. So again, just submit. Okay, and I screwed something up. What did I screw up? Well, I lost. It seemed like the numbers changed. The numbers must have changed when I went to. When I copied and pasted this into my OneNote, for whatever reason, when I reloaded this page, the numbers changed here. All right, so we get negative 2x equals negative 4y plus 4. All right, so then whatever reason the problem changed on me. I didn't hit a similar example. I don't know. I logged in and it must have changed since I looked at this. So we would have to go through the same exact type of analysis. All right, I'll just kind of work it out quick mentally and then I'll just put it down. But the process is exactly as we developed here. Again, the equation that I have over in my OneNote is different than the one I have now in the problem, unfortunately. But this is the same overall process as picking values to determine ordered pairs. All right, so I'll just complete it just so we can get it correct. If I plug in y equals 0, we're going to get x to be, in this case, negative 2. So it's going to be negative to 0, and if we plug in x equals 0, we're going to get y is equal 1. So I think the line should be that one. Okay, but again, same process, and for my numbers, even in this one, comes out fairly well just by using 0 for y and then finding x, and then 0 for x and finding y. So I hope that helps with homework 2. Let me know if you have any questions.